Hi class, in today's lesson we're continuing on the topic of probability, and we're going to be looking at an application of it today, and the topic is making predictions from data. Now anytime that we're making predictions, we're usually referring to a large population or group of people, but sometimes it's hard to make predictions from a very large population size. So sometimes what people will do in order to make a reasonable prediction about how a group of people will behave or what the outcome will be, sometimes a sample of that population will be observed and making a comparison to the actual size. So to make predictions about populations, we use samples and proportions to make our calculations. And the way how we calculate the way how we calculate predictions is actually very easy to do. It involves multiplying two different measurements. It involves multiplying the probability of the sample size times the population or the actual size that we're dealing with. Let's take a look at two examples of some problems down below. So for problem number one, at an arcade, Juanita plays a game 20 times in total. She has a 30% probability of winning the arcade game. How many times is she expected to win? So let's analyze our word problem and pick out our key information. So the 20 times in total is actually referring to the total population size. Now we're not dealing with people here, but we're dealing with the total number of times that that something happens. And then we have our probability measurement of winning over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take these two measurements and multiply them together. So 30% times 20. Now remember, there's a couple ways on how you can take a percent and multiply it with a number. You can rewrite it as a fraction or as a decimal. So another way you can evaluate this is 0.30 times 20. And so if we make our calculation, we end up with 6 times as our answer. So that's how we do our work for the first problem. Now let's take a look at problem number 2 down below. This one's set up a little bit differently, and some word problems are like this. So make sure you listen and pay attention closely. Suppose 1,000 toy robots are selected at random from 20,000 robots, and 54 robots from the sample size are found faulty. Predict how many of the 20,000 robots are likely to be faulty. So let's think about what we're dealing with here. So this is our sample that we're taking from the total population. So this number right here is our population size. And then we were told that 54 robots out of the 1,000 are found to be faulty. Well, guess what? When we make that comparison, that is the probability that a robot is likely to be found faulty. So let's think about what we're dealing with here. So remember, we're dealing with the probability of our sample size, which is 54 out of the 1,000 robots found to be faulty, and we're going to multiply that with the population size. So this is our probability times the population. Now remember, if it's hard to multiply fractions with whole numbers, you can always convert the fraction to a whole number, to a decimal. So if we do that, let's see, 54 divided by 1,000, is going to give you 0.054. So then you could take that number and multiply it by 20,000. So let's do that. So 0.054 times 20,000 gives us 1,080. So by using the probability from the sample size, we're using that to make a prediction of how many robots would be found faulty from the total population size. I hope you found this lesson to be helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions by email, and I'll be glad to help you out. Have a great day.